The first example problem that we want to work out here, we have a triangular prism which has a width of 6, a height of 8, and then a depth of 14. It also has a slant height or a hypotenuse here of 10. All of these units are in inches. However, I want to point out that that slant height is a red herring. That's put there intentionally to try to send you down the wrong path. In order to find volume, we know that we need the area of the base times height. In order to find the area of the triangular base, we use our area formula for a triangle, which is 1/2 length times width, and then times height for the volume piece. So here we have 1/2 times 8 times 6 times 14. So I'm going to go ahead and plug that straight into my calculator. I'm going to come up with 0.5 times 8 times 6 times 14, which gives me an answer of 336 cubic inches. Which is the volume of that prism. Our next one that we're going to do is to actually find the volume of a cylinder. So in finding the volume of the cylinder, the formula stays the same. We'll draw ourselves a nice cylinder here. The radius is what matters in order to find the area of that base. This cylinder happens to have a height of 6 and a radius of 2. Again, our formula volume is area of the base times the height. And you guys should remember that in order to find the area of a circle, we use the area formula, which is pi times the radius squared times the height in order to get volume. Now this one asks us to round to the nearest whole number, so we're going to replace that pi with 3.14. The radius is 2, and the height is 6. Now I put all of those in parentheses just to make sure that they stayed together in a unit. It still means that we're going to take all three and multiply them. So I'm going to go ahead and put into my calculator first my 2 squared, which gives me 4, times 6 times pi. And I'm going to go ahead and use my pi button on this one. That gives me an answer, you can see, of 75.39. I need to round to the nearest whole number, which means I'm rounding to 75 cubic inches. Our last problem that we're going to go over today is a little bit more of a complex shape. Complex shapes are not as difficult as you might expect, but the trick is making sure that you break them up into reasonable pieces. So if you imagine a shape that looks about like this, but it is of course a three-dimensional solid. So when we're looking at our three-dimensional solid here, it has a dimension here. All of my units here are in centimeters. It has 2 as a depth on that section, 6 as a total length, it has 4 as a height on that side. It also has 4 as a depth on that side, and then a width here along the top of 3. Now in looking at this, what I want to do with it in order to be able to find the volume of all of them is break it into manageable pieces that I can find the volume of separately. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it here into 2 separate pieces, and if I find the volume of the first piece and add it to the volume of the second piece, that will give me the volume of the whole piece. That camera is struggling today. So when I look here, I can see this length is 3, because that's the same as the top there. It has a total length of 6. So if it's 3 here, the total length is 6. This one must also be 3. Same here, I need this depth. But if I know that it's 4 deep on this side, it has to be 4 deep the whole way around. So that's also 4. I'll try to adjust that up just a little so it doesn't keep auto-focusing so much. Maybe it will have a better time like that. So now if you imagine, I'm going to take this first piece, and it's a rectangular prism that looks about like that, and it's 2 by 4 by 3. Then my second piece is taller over here. It's another rectangular prism, and it's 3 by 4 high and also 4 deep. So volume for both of these is length times width times height. So my volume should be 3 times 2 times 4 there. In here it should be 4 times 4 times 3. So 3 times 2 is 6, times 4 is 24. And again, we were in centimeters here, so that's cubic centimeters. And then here on my other one, I've got 4 times 4 times 3. So 4 times 4 is 16, times 3 is 48 cubic centimeters. And again, to find the volume of the total, I add the two separate pieces together, and I end up with, in total, 72 cubic centimeters for my volume.